The Vietnam War, a conflict that lasted nearly 2 decades, engulfed a nation, and shaped global politics like few others. It was a war of ideology, of fierce battles in dense jungles, and of a deeply divided home front. But what really happened in Vietnam? And why did it become one of the most controversial wars in modern history? Today, we're diving deep into the Vietnam War, from its origins to its aftermath. This is the story of courage, conflict, and controversy. To understand the Vietnam War, we have to go back to the roots, all the way to French colonialism in Southeast Asia. Vietnam was part of French Indochina, colonized by France in the late 19th century. The Vietnamese people endured decades of colonial rule, exploitation, and economic hardship. But their desire for independence only grew stronger. During World War II, Japan occupied Vietnam, weakening French control. In this chaos, a nationalist movement emerged led by Ho Chi Minh and his communist Viet Minh forces, who fought for Vietnam's independence. After the war, France tried to reassert control, sparking the First Indochina War between French forces and the Viet Minh from 1946 to 1954. The war ended with the decisive Vietnamese victory at Dien Bien Phu, forcing the French to negotiate. In 1954, the Geneva Accords temporarily divided Vietnam at the 17th parallel. The communist government, led by Ho Chi Minh, controlled the north. The south was governed by the anti-communist Ngo Dinh Diem, supported by the United States. The agreement called for national elections in 1956 to reunify the country, but those elections never happened. The US feared that Ho Chi Minh would win. This division set the stage for conflict. The North aimed to reunify Vietnam under communism, while the South resisted. In the South, communist insurgents known as the Viet Cong began to wage a guerrilla war against Diem's government. The US, viewing Vietnam as a key battleground in the Cold War against communism, increased military and financial support to the South Vietnamese government. President John F. Kennedy sent Special Forces advisors in the early 1960s, and after Diem's assassination in 1963, the South's political instability worsened. The real turning point came in 1964 with the Gulf of Tonkin incident, where alleged attacks on U.S. naval vessels led Congress to pass the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. This gave President Lyndon B. Johnson broad powers to escalate U.S. military involvement without a formal declaration of war. The war quickly escalated into a brutal conflict marked by jungle warfare, heavy casualties, and controversial tactics. The Vietnam War was unlike previous wars fought by the US. The Viet Cong used guerrilla tactics, hit-and-run attacks, booby traps, tunnels, and blending with civilians. The dense jungles and unfamiliar terrain made traditional military strategies difficult. U.S. forces used helicopters extensively to move troops and supplies, earning the conflict the nickname the Helicopter War. The war also involved heavy bombing campaigns, including Operation Rolling Thunder, aimed at crippling North Vietnam's infrastructure. The Tet Offensive and Turning Point. In January 1968, during the Vietnamese Lunar New Year, Tet, the Viet Cong and North Vietnamese forces launched a massive surprise attack on South Vietnamese cities, including Saigon. Militarily, the Tet Offensive was a failure for the communists, but it shocked the American public and media, undermining confidence in U.S. claims that victory was near. The graphic images of fighting and destruction broadcast into U.S. homes fueled anti-war sentiment and protests. As the war dragged on with mounting casualties, the anti-war movement gained momentum in the U.S. Students, activists, veterans, and many ordinary citizens protested against what they saw as an unjust and unwinnable war. The draft, which sent young men to fight, became a particular focus of opposition. Major events like the 1969 moratorium to end the war and the tragic Kent State shootings in 1970 highlighted the deep divisions in American society. The war officially ended in 1973 with the Paris Peace Accords, leading to the withdrawal of U.S. troops. But fighting between North and South Vietnam continued until 1975, when Saigon fell and Vietnam was reunified under communist control. The Vietnam War remains a powerful reminder of the complexities of war, of ideals and reality, of courage and tragedy. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and let us know your thoughts in the comments.